What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, Happy New Year. This is the new year. It is 2026. We made it. 2025 went by real fast. But, hopefully everybody's cool. Everybody's good. Everybody's looking forward to the good stuff this year. Mainly, video games. There's a lot of games, man. There's a lot of games coming out. But we're not going to talk about games right now. I mean, we've got, plenty of months, 12 and 11 and change, to talk about games, especially from Xbox because they have the most games compared to anybody else, basically. Number one publisher, the largest publisher, at least. Anyway, so I came across this today. I think, I know Sean was talking about it. Sean and Dirt and Dumb. And so I said, let me look into that, and I did look into it, and this is what happened, right? This is what happened. Sony faces unpatchable PS5 jailbreak threat after ROM keys leak. The PS5 has been hacked. Come on, son. It's actually like kind of clockwork, right? We're past the mid-gen, right? Technically speaking, even though we had some delays, some speed bumps, some detours, and all that stuff. Like I said, I think this generation is gonna bleed into 2030, But this jailbreak represents something more than just, don't worry, Sony could patch it out and it done. That's not how it's working. So let's read. It's from Chris. It's from someplace, Hot Hardware. I never heard that site, but everybody's kind of saying the same stuff. But I just wanted to go somewhere that's not like, we're going to slant the news, or maybe they are, who knows? They might be ponies. We don't know. But let's read. The PlayStation 5 has essentially been cracked just in time for 2026. That doesn't sound like a pony saying that. It would appear that short of releasing a new hardware revision, there's not much Sony can do about it. This is because PlayStation 5 hackers have found the boot ROM level 0 keys for the PlayStation 5, which enabled decryption of the bootloader, and from there allows hackers to control what software you can run on the machine. So they have to do a hardware revision in order to fight this. So I believe they will do a hardware revision, even though it's going to mess them up, because basically, if they've been hoarding all these consoles, say if they have, 15 million consoles in the warehouses that they haven't sold yet because they give you sold they haven't given you sold through, they've given you sold into, retailer numbers. They don't give you the sell through. So they have a stock of these old PS5s that are broken, jailbroke, hacked, if you will. So that's a good thing for us who want to play around a little bit with some PlayStation 5 hackings and stuff. You want to sail the 7 seas or whatever you do, you could do that. Just buy a PS5 that isn't the new one that they come out with. Just buy what they got in stock. You could get it all good. So in a way, it's good for PlayStation, but in a way, it's bad for PlayStation, because it's like, people are going to run out and buy this particular PlayStation because it's hackable. But it's hackable. So, they weren't buying the games anyway. So it's like, what's the difference? They weren't buying the game. At least they're going to buy the consoles, right? Why don't you just, PlayStation? You should just sell a console that's open, that the people could just put whatever they want on it. That way, you probably sell a lot of consoles because you damn sure can't sell no games. Spell no games. You can't sell them. You can't sell the games. And that's bad for you. Not for me or us, but for you, because you want to sell consoles and stuff, but you forgot about the game part. So the hackers out there helped you out and said, just want to sell consoles? Here you go, bleep, bloop, bloop. Now it's hacked. Now everybody wants it. You remember when, when the PSP, no, it's the PSV. The PS Vita got real popular when they broke it, when they jailbroke it. That's when. The PSP, remember when that got real popular? When they jailbroke it. Like, you can put all your games on. You can put all kind of emulators and stuff. That's when it got popular, and that's when Sony abandoned it. So, what does that mean? Does that mean that PlayStation is going to abandon the PlayStation 5? There's two scenarios here. they abandon the PlayStation 5, go to PlayStation 6, or they revise again the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 Pro, Pixel Tech 5 Potato, because they're the same console basically. One just has more something, and it costs more. You figure it out. I don't know. They put some Pisser Tech on it, and now it smells like urine. So, in the short term, this doesn't mean much, but soon enough, custom firmware and unlicensed backups will likely be available for current PlayStation 5 hardware. The cybersec guru anticipates that we will see more sophisticated game backups and loaders appearing in 2026, and that this leak significantly shortens the timeline for mass piracy. The route to legitimate and illegitimate emulation has also become a lot shorter, since leaked PS5 boot ROM keys will make it easier for emulators to replicate booting and decrypting game loaders. Oh, what fun it is to ride in the PlayStation 5 hacked version. They should have that. They should just sell it. They should it's like other OS, other emulation. I don't know. The cybersecurity dude notes that this should lead to a faster timeline on 60 FPS Bloodborne, because the hackers are the ones who are making this, because Sony's like, we don't want to make it. Actually, I don't think it's Sony. Sony owns the IP, but FromSoft was like, yeah, we don't care about it. We doing, we got a game, right? That's it's like there's a ring in it, and there's an old ring. We call it Elden Ring, and it's more populated than all our games. So that's what we're doing. But then Nintendo cut us a check, so we're doing the Blood Dusts or whatever it's called. And so, Bloodborne? What? No, they don't care about that. FromSoft ain't doing that. They better get somebody else to do that, because they don't really. Anyway, they could get what is it? Blue. They got their team to do. They did the Demon Souls. Did they do Demon Souls remake? Something. Anyway, but this is somewhat outdated notion, as 60 FPS Bloodborne is already possible on a hacked PS5 or PS4 Pro, and unlocked frame rate Bloodborne already feasible on a shade PS4. This leak should jumpstart PS5 emulation though. The long-term implications of this move mean permanently jailbroken PS5 consoles are coming. Now, while this does bode well for personal backups and homebrew development, it will questionably lead to increased piracy and other shenanigans on the PlayStation 5. Sony will likely resort to legal actions against leakers of the cracked boot ROM and hacked developers, and ban cracked console accounts from the PlayStation Network. Finally, this makes a new revision of the PlayStation 5 hardware in 2026 a strong possibility. And if the PlayStation 5 Pro, Pixel Tech 5 Potato, shares boot ROM keys with the base PlayStation 5, of course it does. Come on, son. We may also see a revision of that console as well. That's what I said. Fortunately, this isn't an apocalyptic scenario for Sony by any means. The PlayStation 5 is still amongst the most successful consoles of this generation. The legitimate users will always outnumber pirate. Okay. There's something that this person, Chris Harper, very well written. I appreciate the work, but Sony has historically been trying to fight piracy forever. Sony and Nintendo. Nintendo was diabolical about it. Sony, their way to fight piracy, believe it or not, was to have bespoke hardware that was so difficult that regular okie dokie people couldn't do it. They had specific instructions and ways to make games and such. It started from PS1, PS2, PS3. It stopped at the PS3, PS4. Now that's x86. And that's when all this piracy stuff kind of blew up, because they weren't really doing piracy back then. Emulators didn't. I mean, it took a long time for them to make the PS3 emulators and stuff. They have them now, but it was harder because they kept that stuff on lock, and they kept changing the hardware generation to generation. So you couldn't take what you did before on the PS2 emulation and transfer it to a PS3 emulation, and it's totally different. So they had to start all over. This is how they kind of protected themselves hardware-wise from piracy. That doesn't exist anymore. So they try to do it the software route, and we see what's going on here. They're done, son. That's it. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I think that they're going to do a PlayStation 5 revision, a hardware revision. It will probably be a silent. They're not going to change anything as far as aesthetically. They'll just be like, okay, let's put this chip right here, boop, and that fixes the problem. And it'll increase costs or something, but by 59 cents, whatever the cost is for the chip. I mean, it might be $1.59 now because it's like triple or whatever. But you know what I'm saying? It's just it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. So, this whole thing it's funny because I don't hear anything about Xbox getting hacked like this. I don't know. It's just everybody swear PlayStation 5. PlayStation 5 is so good. It's so good, right? But then I'm looking at this. I'm like, how are they supposed to survive another 4 years or let's say 2 years with this going on? Do they have the bandwidth? Do they have the time? Do they have the resources? And with this news, I'm sure they knew about this. Or if this is like a surprise to them right now, how are they supposed to do a revision real quick and still have, their consoles like accommodate the warehouses that they're filling because people ain't buying them. They're just filling in warehouses and say, we sold 89 million to the people who are going to sell them to you. Say, oh, you just made 80. Okay, just say you made 89 million. Don't say you sold something. Say you made them. Say that. They say shipped. We shipped it. Whatever. You ain't selling them though because the PSN super duper people, there's not a lot of people playing. That's all I'm saying. Get out of there. But anyway, yeah, that's the Pisser Tech. That's the Pisser Tech little guy. Still not low. It's huge. Still bigger than the Xbox. Still slower than the Xbox. I think the Pisser Tech 5 Potato is probably the most disappointing, most powerful console right now. Like, as far as like, this is like the Pisser Tech 5 Potato is supposed to be the most powerful console, right? But when you look back at the previous versions of the most powerful consoles, right? Like the Pisser Tech 4 Potato. That wasn't even, it was just a PS4 Pro, right? It was better than the PS4, but it wasn't better than the Xbox One X. That was the most powerful. Bam. It wasn't even a competition. It was like, Xbox won that one, right? And now you look at the Series X versus PS5. Series X is better. No competition. But then you look at the Pisser Tech 5 Potato, and then you look at the next, on paper, the next most powerful console, and that's the Xbox Series X. And I'm like, I mean, on paper, Pisser Tech 5 Potato is supposed to be more powerful. But in reality, in realism, it's not. No, it's not. And I remember when the Xbox Series X and the Series S launched, and it was just the regular vanilla, the amateur PlayStation 5. All the ponies and the donkey unicorns were like, oh, on paper, well, we were saying on paper is more powerful, right? But then the pony bots, the ponies, pony bots too, ponies and the donkey unicorns were like, but look at what's happening, look at the games, the PS5 is performing better, it's more powerful, blah, blah. It wasn't. The devs just weren't, they weren't doing their due diligence. They weren't optimizing for the most powerful console. They were optimizing for the most popular console. And we all know that the most popular thing, winner, personality, it's not necessarily the best. I can apply that to many things. I'm not going to go there. But, that is a problem within the industry. Whether it's, I don't want to call it, like, it's not like a corruption or anything, but it's business in the sense it feels a little bit like corruption, but it's like, yo, this company giving you money to basically not work on the competitors, just work on ours first, make it the best, and then you can do whatever you want over there. And I'm like, okay. And what cemented that notion in my mind, and I believe that's what had happened or what is happening, is when Jim Ryan said, "Oh, we're scared that they're gonna make a inferior version of Call of Duty for the PlayStation and the best version for the Xbox." And I'm like, why would you say that, Jim Ryan? Because the only reason why you would say that is because that would be a notion that you may have posited towards the devs that you paid money to do the same. But now you don't want your own medicine. You don't want Xbox to do what you did to Xbox. You don't want Xbox to do to you, PlayStation, what PlayStation you did to Xbox. That's what you don't want. And then he ran, he cried, he flew to Brussels, he did all these things, and now he got a cookie and a white T-shirt, and he's out of there. And that's how it works, Jim Ryan. Jimothy, that's how it works. Sorry, but not sorry. I'm glad you're gone. It was fun. But now, the money people are in charge. And so, I'm looking at place like this news to Hiroki Totoki. Hiroki Totoki's like, yo, what are y'all doing? I stepped in. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to fix this. What is that game? Concord? Close that down. How much money? No. No, we're not doing that. Herman, sit down and listen. We gonna make money. We're not gonna waste money, okay? No more of these $400 million games, okay? You better figure out the math on that because no, negative no. This is with his, Japanese accent. I'm not gonna do that. So you haven't heard from Herman, have you? You haven't heard from him in a minute. It's been a while. Ever since that fireside living room chat, whatever that was, he ain't saying nothing. They ain't saying nothing on play. Y'all thought that Xbox was being quiet real quick. Man, it's been a silent graveyard over there at PlayStation. They ain't saying nothing. They ain't got no games coming out. Everybody's like, yay, Wolverine and something else. I don't remember. Yeah, that's coming out this year. I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm like, okay. As far as Wolverine goes, I don't think it's going to be as good as people think it's going to be. Like, think about it, right? Let me close this. Think about it. Wolverine is Logan. John, whatever is his Powell or something? I can't remember his name. He is. It's not. I think people are. I don't know if conflating is the right term, but they are kind of cross-reference. Oh, not cross-reference. They're kind of applying their hype and their excitement from the Spider-Man games to Wolverine. I can understand that because it's the same studio making the game. Whatever. Spider-Man is not Wolverine. Okay, that first of all, you have to understand it. You have to understand Spider-Man, a kid. Wolverine, a grown ass. He's like 259 years old. He old. And this is before he's old man Logan. I don't even know how old he is in old man Logan. He's real old. But he's like snicked. I'ma kill all of y'all's bub. Boosh. And I'm like, okay. And what they showed, I was like, all right. But what's the meat and potatoes? It's just Logan kind of going through. Are they going to do flashbacks when he was in the Orient and stuff? I don't know where. I think he was in Japan. Pretty sure he was in Japan. Are they going to do the Weapon X flashback? I mean, these are questions. They're going to have, some X-Men in there. Fine, whatever. That's like, I think the most interesting part of Wolverine would be the connections to the X-Men and stuff. But at the same time, what's popping off right now in the Marvel Universe as far as the MCU seems way more interesting than the Wolverine game. Because I saw the Thor trailer, part of it. I saw part of the X-Men trailer. All these trailers leading up to Doomsday. And I'm like, yo, they got freaking Cyclops in there, and they got, I think there's a Sentinel walking there. I'm like, yo, what are they? Yo, Kevin Feige's about to blow this up, yo. I'm like, I'm more interested in the movie MCU than this Wolverine game. And the problem with what Sony's doing with these games is that they're not tying them into the MCU. Now, I'll give them a pass. Oh, not give them a pass. I'm going to say I understand why they're doing it, because it's more difficult to make a game with the restrictions of the MCU. They have the kind of story that they want to tell, and if they want to do a game, then they have to get with Kevin Feige and all the creatives there in order to figure out. That would be dope, though, because then they could possibly use some of those, or they would use the actual actors. That would be dope. Imagine if Tom Holland was actually Spider-Man in the Spider-Man games. Wouldn't that be dope? Wouldn't it be dope if Zendaya was in there too, right? And Ned, whatever the dude's name, I don't remember his name. That'd be fire. I'd be like, yo, all right. But it was still kind of like the same artistry of what they made, but with those stars and like the story by Kevin Feige or whatever, But I don't know if like Insomniac want to give up that creative freedom. They want to make a story. They want to make a Spider-Man story. So now you have a T-move Spider-Man, basically. Like the Insomniac Spider-Man, as good as it is, it's the T-move Spider-Man, because it ain't the Marvel Spider-Man that actually they're doing. This is like, oh yeah, they're making a video game. Like anything that they do is like they did like a Spider-Verse skin. It's like, ooh, that's the closest thing they got to the actual. And the funny thing is, the Spider-Verse movies are great, and Sony's making those games. I mean, those movies too. I mean, it's taking forever for the third one, but. And so I'm like, okay, you're making the Spider-Verse movies. Why didn't you make a Spider-Verse game? That would have been fire, son. Spider-Verse game with Miles Morales from the movies, not this dude. With the same art style? Come on, that's like a no-brainer. Let's go. Just take Miles Morales, that what they already did. Take that engine. It's the same engine anyway. Spider-Man. Put that Spider-Verse movie art on there and do a couple of episodes or something. You could have some story beats in between the events of the movies. Easy. Come on, son. It's called DLC. Do that. I know they had the skins, but I'm like, man, that if they could do that and pull it off and make that game as good as the movies, come on, son. It's like y'all got the ingredients, but y'all don't know how to cook. You got the spices and everything all lined up, but you ain't using the right ones. I'm like, man, it's as good as Insomniac is, it feels like a waste, because they're giving us Elseworld, other dimensional Wolverines and Spider-Man. It's not the same. It's not Hugh Jackman, even though Hugh Jackman is a good actor, so he pulled off Wolverine, but he is not Wolverine. Wolverine is not 6'2", however tall he is. Wolverine is like shorter than I am. He's like 5'2.5". He's short. Remember they had the joke in Deadpool and Wolverine, and they had the one Wolverine, I think it was the first Wolverine he come, and he's like, what do you want, bub, or whatever, and he jumped down off of the bar stool, and he's like, oh, you're a little, that's Wolverine. That's why they did it, because that's how short he is, like the shortest X-Men. He might be shorter than Kitty Pryde, and she's a little girl. Anyway, sorry for the tangent, but I'm just saying, I don't think Wolverine's going to be all that. It'll be good, because Insomniac's making it, and they generally make good games, although what was that one game called? Fuel? No, it wasn't Fuel. Fuel was that racing game. It was one game they made. It was bad. It was a multiplat too. It's like the one multiplat they did, and it's like, yeah, we can't do this. We kind of suck. We made a sucky game, man. That was such a bad game. I was like, damn. That's like, I don't know. That's like Naughty Dog making a multiplayer game that doesn't even come out. That's how bad it. Oh, wait, that did happen, didn't it? I mean, you can't always hit home runs. I'm just saying, Naughty Dog, y'all messed up. Insomniac, you don't have a perfect record. Maybe it's about time for them to make another stinker. I don't know. I don't want them to make a stinker, but I don't. The only way that Wolverine can be good is if it is kind of packaged with the promise of future X-Men games. And how long is that going to take? It's going to be another 10 years before we get an X-Men game, because, they got to go back to Spider-Man. I told y'all before, Insomniac is the Marvel studio. They're not making anything else than Spider-Man. They're only making. That's it. That's all they're making is Marvel games for the rest of their days. That's the life you chose. I'm just saying. That's what's happening right now. But, you know, I mean, yeah, sure, they throw in a Ratchet and Clank here and there, but I don't know how that's going to be. Anyway, I appreciate you hanging out. So like and subscribe. Leave me in the comments below. Let me know what you think about Sony getting hacked. PS5 is whack. PS5 is dead. Up against your head. I'm just saying. That was bad. That was bad rhymings. Yeah. And what you think? You think Wolverine's going to be okay? And you think he's going to come out this year? I think it'll be delayed. Isn't Venom supposed to be whatever? I don't care anymore. I appreciate, and I'll talk to y'all on the next one. Till 3 times.